Well, good morning, CFC and friends. It's Pastor John Stone here, and we are here for a devotion this morning in Romans 8, and we're taking this up in verse 18. And in 18, Paul says, I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. For the creation waits in eager expectation for the children of God to be revealed. For the creation was subjected to frustration, not by its own choice, but by the will of the one who subjected it, in hope that the creation itself will be liberated from its bondage to decay and brought into the freedom and glory of the children of God. We know that the whole creation has been groaning, as in the pains of childbirth, right up to the present time. Not only so, but we ourselves, who have the first fruits of the Spirit, groan inwardly as we wait eagerly for our adoption to sonship, the redemption of our bodies. So Paul here sets in front of us a picture of what it means to hope and to hurt. So in Paul's mind, and in the mind of the Holy Spirit, more importantly, who wrote the scriptures through Paul and through Christ, Paul says something here that is almost impossible for a human being to believe, right? He says, I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that has been revealed in us. So it takes a lot of honesty and just a raw, rugged commitment to truth to admit the way in which some Christians have suffered. Christians have suffered in all the atrocities in history. There were Christians in Hiroshima when a nuclear bomb went off. There were Christians around the fallout from that who suffered and died from the cancerous fallout from that. Christians have been abused. They have been taken captive. They have been made slaves. Sexual, physical torment has been put on Christians. And while that's not the experience of all of us, Paul is clear here that he considers whatever has been suffered by a Christian not worth comparing the glory that will be revealed in us. Paul is here inviting us to believe, to have faith in the promises of Christ in a way that feels impossible. We as Christians will say, we want this to be true. We hope it's true, but it's very difficult to believe that all of the suffering we see, all of the heartache we see, will not be comparable to the glory that will be revealed in us. And Paul offers us out hope that Christ will come as a healer beyond our imaginations and even beyond our hopes. No eye has seen, no mind has conceived what the Lord has for us, is the way it's said in another place. But in light of this, Paul teaches us that this hope and this hope for healing also leads to a groaning. In verses 18 through 21, he talks about the creation. In verse 22, he says, we know that the whole creation has been groaning, and that groaning comes from it having been subjected to the frustration of a sinful world, a fallen sinful world. A world that does not work, a world that does not feed everybody, a world where illness and sickness and physical tragedies are all around us, where there are storms, literally, where there are pandemics. And the creation is groaning because it wants to be a place that feeds and heals. The creation wants to be a safe place for us, but it's been subjected to our sin, to the sinful world, the broken world. And so it groans, which means we groan. Not only so, but we ourselves who have the first fruits of the Spirit groan inwardly as we wait eagerly for our adoption to sonship, the redemptions of our bodies. This is a hard word from Paul, because Paul says that what it means to be a Christian is to be someone who groans. It's the groaning of an elbow being set that's been dislocated. It's the groaning of a bone being set that's been broken. And it's set, and we groan from pain because we know that the setting of the bone, right, will bring about healing. But in the current moment, the setting of the bone creates pain. We groan, we long for the healing that is not yet coming. And we live currently between these two things. We are his sons, and we have not been healed. And in that place, one of the proper Christian responses is groaning. And I think sometimes for us, there's a victoriousness and there's a triumphalism in us in the West that is inappropriate. We are groaners. We groan because we have not yet been given the freedom that comes with being a child of God, living in a perfect creation. We're the children of God living in a fallen creation and a fallen body, so we groan. Christian, today I groan with you. Hope I groan for you. Hope you groan for me as we eagerly await the redemption of our bodies when we will be fully in the presence of Christ. It's good to be with you this morning. Look forward to seeing you on Sunday, whether that be in person or online or wherever we may meet. Have a great week.